Welcome back to AM Northwest. The late James DePreist was the longtime and much beloved music director of the Oregon Symphony. But to his wife, he was simply Jimmy. Here to share stories from their life together, we welcome the author of Reach Up, My Beautiful Journey with James DePreist, Ginette DePreist. Good to have you with us, Ginette.
Thank you, Helen.
Oh my goodness, this is fascinating. Why did you want to write about Jimmy and your life?
Because I wanted to help the generation that comes, that if you truly believe in what you're doing,
right,
nothing could stop you.
That's incredible.
And in terms of the history of my husband, he was so outside the box, that's what I call it. In terms of his background, the way he came from, his handicap, his race,
right,
I mean, you name it, he had all those challenges, and in spite of it, managed to have a very big international career.
Right.
And that's the main message I want to project to those young people coming down
Yes.
the pipe. Yeah.
You were a young woman in Quebec,
Yeah.
right? And a astrologer, fortune teller, psychic told you she saw your future.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. It was amazing.
Well, it's a funny story
Yeah.
because I never really quite believe in that.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law really thought it was a great idea, and she didn't have a car at the time, and she said, "Do you mind driving me to that woman?"
Yeah.
I said, "I don't have anything specific to do, so I'll do that." So I went with her, sat in the waiting room, and at the end of her session, the
Right.
woman looks at me and she says, "Do you mind having a reading?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, I didn't come for that." She said, "Are you afraid of it?" I said, "No, I just don't necessarily believe in
Right.
that." She said, "You project something very special in this room." And she said, "I'll tell you what, you're you would be my last client." And she said, "I'd love to have a reading with you for free."
Yeah.
So I looked at her, I said, "You would?"
So she tells you this.
She
amazing
tells
thing.
me
You're
all
gonna meet
this.
This
Yeah.
man, this
Yeah.
incredible man who's going to be older. He's going to be disabled, right? He's going to be black. He's going to be.
Well,
she
the
said
fun,
of a different race.
yeah,
did she?
yeah. She said he had probably an accident because he walks with cane.
Right.
He's not from here. He doesn't speak that language. And she said there's something very interesting about his life. She said, "I don't know if it's a matter of race or if it's a matter of background." And Jimmy had both because he was a nephew of Marian Anderson. So,
Oh, tell us about that.
well,
Marian Anderson was a big influence on his life.
well, she was
Yes.
because he was basically the son she never had. So they were very close.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Marian Anderson was an incredible singer.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And
Yeah.
so she paid his way through college, I
Exactly,
think, right? Yeah.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you two meet because you set up, you're a radio producer at the time, you set up an interview.
Yeah.
You eventually go on a lunch together. What was it about James DePreist that you said, this man is amazing?
His projection.
Yeah.
I mean, this man glowed.
Yeah.
I think that there was something about him. I thought, first of all, he is very handsome,
Yeah.
may I say. And so it was really interesting in terms of what he could project. He was always interested in having things, and that's what attracted me to him.
So tell me about your life, because you come to Oregon. You're not married at the time.
No.
But you come to Oregon, to Portland, to find an apartment together. He's been given the conductor role, the Oregon Symphony. And it turns out that the woman who's kind of organizing everything says, maybe you two should get married.
You know, it was in the 80s,
Right.
and living in sin was not popular. So she said, "It wouldn't be nice if you could call Ginette Mrs. DePreist."
And he said, yes, let's do it.
He said, "Let's do it." And in a matter of a month, we were married.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me about your life.
Well, my life was a whirlwind, and we never left each other. We were 27, 24 hours, 7 days a week, all together.
Your wedding picture.
That's why my wedding picture, exactly. Yeah. So it was lovely. It
Yeah.
was just.
You met incredible people. You met so many famous
Yeah.
people in your travels.
Yeah, exactly. And he would never, he told me, he said, "I've lived too many hours after concert alone in my hotel room." He said, "I don't want to have to live through this again. And if you don't mind following me through my career, we will be good partner." And he was right.
What is a highlight for you?
My goodness, there's many of them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, reading people like Itzhak Perlman, who was in town yesterday, for example, or Yo-Yo Ma, or all those great artists,
Right.
you know, and important people, but most importantly, it's more behind the scene after a concert, more of a family,
Yeah.
a friendship that is sealed for years to go. So it's always wonderful.
You include a lot of his poetry
Yeah,
in the book.
yeah.
He was a beautiful poet.
I agree. And he would say, if poetry would make me as wealthy as conducting, I would probably choose poetry.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, yeah.
So when we talk about the people he also met the Pope.
Yeah,
He met the Clintons.
yeah.
You know, and you're there witnessing this all.
Yeah.
And I've got to believe everyone was just attracted to him as a person. He exudes.
Well, just to give you an incident with the Pope, for example, we were standing in this lovely room together, and Jimmy is standing with his crutches, and here comes the Pope that from a very far distance.
Yeah.
And he sees Jimmy. And we were prepared to go up the podium to meet him because there were 2 steps, and I was trying to figure out how we would get there. There's
Right.
no ramp, there's nothing.
Right.
The Pope sees him, and at the time, his health was very fragile. He was walking with a cane and all of
Right.
that. He crossed all the way to meet Jimmy and shook his hand.
Wow.
And I thought it was quite amazing. So that's what Jimmy projected in a crowd. I mean,
Yeah.
people couldn't ignore him. That's
No,
for
they
sure.
couldn't.
No.
In fact, there's a story that you tell about, and I was there when this happened years ago. We're at a Cirque du Soleil performance, and I see James DePreist sitting there. He just again stands out with that big smile. It was incredible, and they put the spotlight on him and try to include him in a bit in the show.
Yep, that was kind of interesting. I mean, it was the opening of, I think, this after the intermission.
Yeah.
And this lovely little mime was obviously entertaining the crowd, and he was pretending to play baseball. And he projected a ball, thinking that somebody would do the same
Would
and
pretend
get
to
up,
catch it, yeah.
get up. And Jimmy couldn't.
No.
So
And the
it
whole-
was, and when the projection came to him, the whole crowd said, no. It was
No.
interesting,
I remember
wasn't
that.
it?
Yeah, the whole crowd was trying to tell the mime,
Yeah.
he can't stand up. No. And my takeaway was, oh my gosh, Portland loves James DePreist. They're just on his side, making sure he's okay.
Yeah,
this
they
is
were
incredible.
protecting him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have a book event. It's on Sunday at the Historical Society. We're going to put all that information for everyone on our website at k2.com. The book again is Reach Up, My Beautiful Life with James DePreist. Thank you so much, Ginette.
You're
Appreciate
welcome,
it.
Helen.
All right,
Thank
we'll be
you.
right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.